So would you all believe when I tell you that in over 12 years of catering desserts, I have catered to waffles and ice cream at every single event? This is just to show you that it has to be that there's a particular tease and vibe that my waffles recipe gives you when you try it out. So do you want me to show you how I do it? Anyway, I'm even going to show you how I do it. So first of all, the joker about this recipe is that it has a slight crust when you're done baking it. You have to use a waffle maker to bake it, because definitely it's a waffle, so it has to have that look and that shape. We have different kinds of waffle makers, but this is the one I'm using for this video. All right. And another thing about this my waffle recipe is that if you don't have a hang on your hand mixer or your stand mixer, you can easily whisk everything all together and the result is just going to be as great. The third joker is that I use some bits of ice cold water and some bits of milk to give it the perfect balance, and then so it is not too soggy and it isn't overly rich or overly anything, but it's just perfect. Okay, so you can very much pair it with your ice cream because it comes out warm all the time, or with your sausages and scrambled eggs. Let me just save you all of this and let's just dive right into making this together, shall we? Okay, so it's going to basically start off with the wet ingredients, and then I always alternate the dry ingredients with the milk so that it can have this cake-like but not cake-like result. So we're going to go straight in with adding the sugar. I will be dropping the recipe in the caption so that we can go straight into the point. So this is granulated sugar. I'm using the regular granulated sugar white, and the next thing going in is going to be the vegetable oil. Goes in. All right, and then the next thing I will be adding is going to be 2 eggs as thin like this. So it is at this point you just get your wire whisk, your hand mix like this, and just whisk it all up very thoroughly and very quickly, something like what I'm doing now. All right, okay, and then after doing that, so we're going to be adding the vanilla flavor to give it some flavor. So precisely, save that okay. And at this point, I'm going to combine all together the dry ingredients, and I'm talking about the flour. And the dry ingredients comprises mostly basically of the flour, the corn flour. Now the corn flour is going to make it more cake-like I said earlier, and remember that my mixing pattern is more like a cake, but then it's going to be a waffle. So the cold water is going to come in very handy to give you the perfect crust that your cake wouldn't give you. All right, so it's like a perfect balance. So now I'm going to be combining the flour, the corn flour, the salt, and the baking powder all together. So what I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to quickly remeasure the flour to make sure that we're on point. I need 1 cup and then 3/4 cups of the flour. So I'm just going to go in here with it, and then that's 1/4 cup is going in 3 times. So this is the first one. All right, that's the second one right here, and then we have the third one. So that's all about that. And then I will be adding all of the pre-measured corn flour, which is a 1/4 cup of the corn flour. We're going to be adding the 1 tablespoon of baking powder, any good brand is fine, and 1 teaspoon of the good old table salt. So I'm just combining it all together. And what I'm going to be doing now is to throw in a little bit of this, and of course, with a dash of nutmeg. When I say a dash of nutmeg, I mean it doesn't have any quantity, it's just for some extra flavor. After doing that, just give it a quick whisk together and add the first batch of the flour. So the flour is going to go in 2 times, as against the regular cakes out there that goes in 3 times. All right, so I'm going to be adding flour, the entire milk at once, and then finish it up with the flour. So now this is what is going to go in, the milk and the water, by the way. So I'm going in with the first batch of the flour. All right, and then I just give it a quick mix like this. It comes out looking a little bit clumpy and thick, but by the time I add the milk, definitely you all know that it's going to come off together. All right, so at this point, I'm going to be mixing the milk in. The milk is going to be 1 2/4 okay, of the milk, and then the third one is going to be the ice cold water. So the ice cold water has the least quantity in the liquid ingredients. So this is it now. This is the first one. Alternatively, what I always do sometimes is to add up the water to each of the addition of the milk to make up 1/4 cup. So this is how I do it. This is 1 cup of the milk, right? This goes in, right? This is the first one. Any good milk is fine. So I'd go in with a 3/4 now. So I pick the second milk. I take the first one like this. It goes in. Take the second one also in. And then the last bit is going to be the ice cold water, like I said earlier. As you can see that this also has some ice in it to ensure that it gives me the result I like it to give to me. So now I'm going to add that in and then just briefly and quickly mix it all up in, and it's going to look like it has some lumps in it, and then I'll add up the final flour. So it's a very pretty much straightforward recipe, and we have that. Meanwhile, I already have my mini waffle maker preheated. I have it preheated and ready for use. So I'm going to be scraping the sides to make sure that it's all thoroughly blended in. And the good thing about this waffles recipe is that you can actually, switch things up. You can make it chocolate chip waffles, you can make it strawberry waffles, you can make it red velvet waffles. All you need to do is add the applicable flavors at the time when you want it to have that flavor. So here guys, this is exactly what it looks like. It's not watery and it's not clumpy and too thick. So that it's not too heavy. So this is what we have. And guys, our waffle mix is ready. So now the next thing we're going to be doing is be toasting it. I'm going to be making about 1 or 2 samples so that you all can see what it looks like. So I'm going to be making use of the 1/4 cup again, because that is the quantity I always pour to make sure that I'm very accurate with my measurements. So I'm going to be repeating the 1/4 cups to be scooping this into the waffle mix. Okay, so at this point now, before you can make your waffles, before you can toast your waffles, you have to brush it up very lightly with oil or butter. What I always like is to use either vegetable oil or butter, whatever I have at my disposal. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to be taking out the oil that's left over from what I used into the butter, and I'm just going to use my silicone brush to brush this very lightly to look just like this, top and the bottom, so there isn't any kind of friction, and then it comes off easily once it's done. So once I do that, I will just go ahead to take the 1/4 cup and then take just a little bit, okay, and then I pour it into the waffle plate, making sure it doesn't get to the very end, because we assume that, or we expect that when it is baked up, it's going to spread all to the ends. So you don't want it to slip over or start over pouring or getting too much. So what happens is you just close this up nicely, and you wait for about 2 minutes. Really, it bakes up really fast. Okay, so about 2 minutes and your waffle is going to be ready. So at this point, how you're going to know is working through is you're going to be hearing something like a bubbling sound inside of the waffle plate, and then the waffle plate is going to slightly lift up. It's a bit heated, but I'm trying to describe it. It's going to get slightly raised like this. For you to know that there is a reaction going inside of it. So it's going to raise up like this. All right, but if you had put on too much, it starts pouring out. So this is going to bake for about 2 to 3 minutes. The indicator light is going to come off, and we're going to open it, and then our waffle is going to be ready. Oops, our waffle is ready. And that's what you have. Look at how cute this is. So I'm just going to be repeating this process over and over and over again for those who want to wonder. In case you want to use this for your breakfast trays, this is very perfect. Look at the size. You just have like 2 or 3 of these with your scrambled eggs and your sausages and the likes of your varieties, your baked beans and everything. But if it's for ice cream, all you need to do is just to put this at the center of your plate and scoop a bit of ice cream on it and drizzle up with some caramel or chocolate. Add a fresh fruit and you're good to go. All right, so we're going the second time now. just like I did the first time. I'm using the 1/4 cup. Pouring this, starting at the center, as you're seeing, and then I just simply close it and allow for it to spread by itself. The heat is gonna like spread it out so that you can have the defined edges as you see this first one, so it doesn't have excess, edges that wouldn't look very neat and presentable. So we're just going to wait a few seconds again for this to be ready. And again, this is what I explained the first time, that immediately the reaction starts, look at this, it starts lifting up by itself. And that is also to show you that when your recipe is very right, the right reaction is going to take place, okay? Because I have the considerable amount of baking powder in this recipe, is going to enable the rise, and of course it's going to give it the structure that it needs to give me the perfect results that I've used in over 12 years, and I am not stopping anytime soon. So the second waffle is also ready, and this is what it looks like. Right. So I'm just going to be making the rest behind camera, okay? But this is exactly what a good, well-baked waffle should look like. Look at it, it has a crust and it is very nice on the inside. I can even break it for you to see what it looks like. It's just really nice, really. So that's going to be all for this class, and I hope you all learned something new today. But don't forget to hit your subscribe button to subscribe to this amazing channel if you think so. Hit the like button and always share to your family and friends, and don't forget to turn on your notifications so that for every time I drop a video, you all will be the first to have a grab on it. So bye.